All right, my friends, welcome back to Two Guys Build a Biz. And in this video, I'm going to be explaining to you a bulletproof roofing strategy for your social media marketing agency. I'm going to get right into it, but if you haven't already, make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. We're dropping value-packed videos like this every single week. And if you find this valuable, be sure to drop a comment in the description down below. Before we jump into it, I'm going to show you how to do this using Go High Level, an amazing platform for agency owners. I definitely recommend using Go High Level, but you can build this same funnel and strategy using really any website that you want. Be sure to check out the description down below because I'll have a free share funnel for you where you can one-click install this into your Go High Level account or give it a shot if you don't already have a subscription. Let's go ahead and jump into it. So what I'm going to be doing here is actually showing you a strategy that worked for me. I actually just put a brand new roof on my house, and I was impressed by a specific roofing company's exact strategy on how they took me through and turned me into an appointment, came out, gave me a quote, and ended up paying around 10 grand to have a new roof put on my home here. So I can say from firsthand experience that this strategy actually works, and it worked on me. So let's go ahead and jump into it. Just to show you here quickly the basics of the strategy, basically what we're gonna have is we're gonna have a Google ad, and that's definitely what I would recommend for roofers. You can certainly retarget traffic hitting the site on other platforms, but when somebody needs a roof, where are they gonna go? They're gonna say, hey, I need a roof. In my case, it's in Tempe. So Google ad, funnel/lead cap, where you collect their information. That's gonna redirect them to a survey where you will collect their information. And then on the other end of that survey and the information gathering, once they're qualified, it'll redirect them to a Calendly link where they can pick a time for you to have an appointment and give them a quote. Let's go ahead and show what this actually looks like. All right, so what I did is I actually Googled roofing Tempe, and this is actually what came up in the search results for me. You can see here the company that I went with is JBS Roofing. Here's their sponsored Google advertisement. I'm gonna go ahead and click that and walk you through what this looks like. So you can see here there's lots of social proof. I'm not gonna get this crazy with the design here. It's gonna be a very simple funnel that I give you for free, but feel free to add more social proof, all these different elements from this site. The URL is jbsroofingaz.com. So at the top here, they have a field to enter your zip code, get an estimate. Then it's gonna take us to a survey of questions. So I'm a homeowner. The only thing that is different here is if you're a commercial property manager, it redirects to a longer form. But let's say we're a homeowner, continue. I needed a roof repair, but there's options for roof replacement or new construction. Option to finance, which we're not gonna offer. And then a Calendly link where you can actually fill out a time. And you can see here there's a bunch of times available. On the other side of this, there's a little bit more information that they gather. So let's go ahead and actually recreate this using High Level. All right, so if you use the share link in the description down below, it's gonna go ahead and open up a workspace in High Level that looks just like this. So we're gonna have an opt-in page, we're gonna have a survey page, and then we're gonna have a thank you page on which we'll have a calendar where they can pick a time that works for their consultation. If you go ahead and open up the first page here, so if you look at this opt-in page, you'll see that it looks a lot like the JBS Roofing opt-in page, where in their case, they just collect a zip code. I think that's pretty light for information in the event that people don't make it all the way through the funnel. So what I like to do is collect a little bit more information up front. So name, email, phone number, and then some light details about the project, but that's not a required field. So they can go ahead and just enter this information and be on their way. The way that you do this is using the form builder. This is just a form element. So you can customize using a form any of these fields that you actually want on your site. So normally you'll speak with your client, you'll find out exactly what information they want, and then you'll build a form that's custom to them, but very, very easy and straightforward to do in High Level. One thing that I like to do is just make sure that on form submission down here under the button settings, we have go to next step selected so that it redirects to the next page in the funnel. We'll go ahead and save that. And obviously you would customize this with your client's logo, maybe have a picture of a project that they completed in the background, make it look good, make it look like their brand. But again, this is just the framework that you can use to be off to the races with your own strategy. Okay, so now the real power of High Level shows with this survey page. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this up here, and you'll notice that we have a survey form builder here. Now it used to be that in order to do this, you used to have all sorts of different tools in play. You'd have to have a Google questionnaire, or you'd have to have something like SurveyMonkey, another third-party tool basically, and build that directly in here. But with High Level, you're able to collect all this information and even do if-then logic flows based on the answers. You could even disqualify people so that they never make it to your client. You can really go crazy with this, and I'd encourage you to tinker with it. But for the essence of this, again, I'm just gonna copy the exact strategy that the JBS Roofing ran and show you guys how to create that. So you'll notice here right now, we have a survey element. So I'm just gonna rebuild this for you so you kind of understand what it looks like. So what I'm gonna do is hit plus, And then I'm gonna go over here to survey. I'm gonna add that in. It says if you wish to add a new survey, click here, and this is gonna take us to the survey builder. Now, what we're gonna do is we're just gonna literally borrow from this exact survey that JBS had. So first step is zip code, get an estimate, and then we have our first set of questions. So let's go ahead and rebuild this exact survey. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna click add new survey, start from scratch, and then on slide 1, I'm gonna start adding in some fields. So if you only collected their zip code on the first page, I would suggest adding a lot more fields in here, like their full name, first name, last name, email, phone number, all those things. But because I collected a lot of those on the first page, I'm just gonna go ahead and start getting into the actual questionnaire. So we're gonna start having questions that they need in order to scope the project. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a custom field, and then we're gonna go ahead and choose add custom fields and choose radio. This is gonna allow us to have a sort of 3-tiered questionnaire style thing like this. And I'm gonna go ahead and click next, and then we're gonna actually go ahead and create this radio dropdown. So this is gonna be our page. Please tell us more about you, and it's going to be a contact object, and then in the group this will just be general info. Now I'm going to go ahead and have these 3 options. I am a homeowner. Next one is I'm buying or selling a home. I'm a realtor. And the third option is I own a commercial property. Now you can also add an image for all of these, just like they had. I'm just going to have it be text for now, but feel free to add in images if you want. And then if there's something else, we can choose allow custom values. We'll go ahead and click save. And this is what it's gonna look like. It's actually gonna populate these different fields, and we'll be able to select them. So we're gonna slide this over here, and you'll see that it populates those fields. So they'll be able to select each of those. Now the really powerful thing here is you can add if-then logic, but we're gonna go ahead and create the following slides and then come back to that in just a moment. Okay, so the next question is select job type. So I'm gonna grab that here, select job type, roof repair, roof replacement, or new construction. So we're gonna go add custom fields, and the same thing, radio select, next, field name, select job type, group, general info, object, contact. So roof repair, roof replacement, or new construction. Save, and then we're gonna go ahead and add that to this next page. Okay, so roof repair, continue. They have a financing option, we're not gonna do that. And then it takes you to the Calendly page. So now what we're gonna do is actually use some if-then logic. So if we go back to the page that asked the please tell us more about you, there's a commercial property manager, and this one actually takes to a different place. So instead of going to that calendar page, it actually goes to a questionnaire. So what I'm gonna do is in this survey is I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add another slide. And in this slide, I'm just gonna have some custom fields like we would have. So let's say, it's full name, phone number, email, and then we can just add a custom field with some text. And on that custom field with the text, we can have it be a multi-line text, and then we can name that, tell us about your project. Contact object, group, general info, enter information, and boom, we're good to go. So we'll add that, tell us about your project, and they'll be able to do that. If you're gonna be doing automated text messages, you need to have this disclaimer, but if you're not planning on doing that, you can remove it, and then we're good to go. Now, I mentioned if-then logic a moment ago, so what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna have 2 of these options here go to the next page in the slide, but only the I own a commercial property is gonna skip that next slide and go to that questionnaire, just like JBS Roofing's did. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select this field, and I'm gonna come over here, and under I am a homeowner, I'm gonna choose the logic for slide 2, and I'm buying, selling my home, also for slide 2, and then I own a commercial property, we're gonna have go to slide 3. I'm gonna go ahead and save that to save our work, and then under select job type, I'm gonna do the same thing. All right, so for the second slide here, what I'm gonna go ahead and do is have all of these go to the submission page. So basically, we have to have a way that this form is going to be completed. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have select job type, and then all of these, roof repair, new construction, they're gonna go to slide 4, where you'll be able to submit the form. And it's gonna skip that third slide, okay? Now, what I'm gonna go here is when they go to slide 3, it's automatically gonna go to the next slide, which will be slide 4. So for slide 4, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add that in here, and then I'm gonna have just a text that says, thank you for your information. Select submit below to schedule your consultation. Now this is kind of big, so I'm just gonna shrink this size, and then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to save this. All right, so now our survey is completely finished here. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna save this page, and then I'm gonna refresh it so that our survey pops up as an option now that we just created. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna add in the new survey, choose that survey option on the right-hand side, and then now I'm gonna have my new survey, survey 1, added in, and I'm gonna remove the placeholder. All right, so we can see here are the options that we created in the last thing. Over here on the left-hand side, under survey settings, we wanna make sure that we choose a redirect action to go to next step. Okay, so as they go through this, it's gonna take them to that next step in the funnel, which is gonna be the calendar page, which we'll discuss in just a moment. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna save that. Again, we're gonna make this look on brand with the first page in the funnel, but then we're gonna jump ahead here to the calendar page. So after they submit this form, it's gonna take them to the thank you page or the calendar page where they can actually go ahead and schedule an appointment in Calendly. Now, it is possible to actually create calendar pages in Go High Level. I've just personally found that the settings are super rudimentary and Calendly is just way more powerful, and most companies are using Calendly already, so I probably would recommend that. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is we're gonna edit it. And then if you're not familiar with Calendly, basically all that you need to do is create an event in Calendly, and then you'll be able to actually add this into the HTML JavaScript here. So we can see here, I just have a placeholder Calendly event. And what that looks like is under this custom HTML, under open code editor, you'll literally just embed the Calendly embed code. And if you don't know how to do that, just check Calendly's website on how to grab that for the event type. So this is what it's gonna look like, just like the page for JBS. They can choose a time, go ahead, submit that information, and then you can collect any sorts of custom information that you want here on this form. So what that's gonna do is it's actually gonna place this event directly on your client's calendar so that they can say, hey, there was a new person who requested an appointment. And then what actually JBS did for me is these were mostly placeholder times. So they actually called me, rescheduled a time that actually worked, but they just had a wide open calendar where I could pick a time that more or less worked for me and actually schedule the appointment to confirm the appointment. So now there is one last step here that I want to talk about, which is actually something called a workflow. So for a workflow, basically what this is going to do is it's going to basically alert your client to, hey, there was some information captured, even if they don't make it all the way through the funnel. So you'll notice that a lot of the time people won't make it all the way through, or they'll drop off partially through, and your client might want to actually go and follow up with those leads, give them a call, send them an email, see if they can go ahead and actually convert them to a paying customer or a booked appointment. So what we're going to want to do to go ahead and do that, if we actually come back here to our launch page, we can go ahead and choose automation here on the left-hand side. So if we click on automations here, you'll see that there's actually two different types of alerts that I actually like to have. One is alerting the client that a survey has been completed. And basically what this will do is it'll let the client know, even if they don't take it all the way through to booking an appointment on the calendar, that the survey was completed and they can go collect the information and follow up with them if not. The other is actually reminding the lead to submit the form. So for this, what I'm going to want to do actually is grab the link for that form page, which is the second stage in the funnel here. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab that domain. And I'm going to come back to my automations here. So let's go ahead and do that one first. So remind lead to submit form. I'm going to go ahead and open up my workflow builder here. And you can see that I built a workflow with a trigger of form submitted. All you need to do is hit the plus, and then you go ahead and choose the workflow trigger form submitted. And you can choose the form. In this case, it is roofing quote, but any form that you have in there. And you can go ahead and save that trigger. The next thing you'll do is you'll add a fulfillment email here. So what I like to do in this is have a link back to that survey page. So if we open this up, we can see here action name. I'm gonna call this survey reminder. Let's just have it from David at the SMA Blueprint. And I'm gonna have it be reminder, submit your request. And then what I'm gonna do here is say hi, and then we can use a custom field because we got their name. Thanks so much for reaching out to custom value. If you haven't already, make sure to submit your information here so that we can give you a quote for your roofing project. And then I'm just gonna drop the link here to that page in the funnel. And then I'd like to have open link in new window and then save the count team and save action. I'm just gonna remove this one because this was just a placeholder, and that's it. So now what this is gonna do is after they actually submit that form with their name or their zip code or whatever it is, it's gonna actually just send them a reminder to increase conversion on the form. So maybe they got distracted, maybe they didn't finish it. They can actually go ahead and be reminded to submit that form. And you can add in additional steps, add a bunch of different reminders, have if then logic, like if they actually submitted the form and finished it and certain criteria is met, it won't send out further emails. There's all kinds of stuff that you can do in here, but I'm just keeping it basic for the purpose of this video. The next thing that we want to do is alert the client if the survey is complete, but they didn't actually finish booking a time. So for this, all we need is a trigger for survey submitted, where it'll track surveys that are submitted. And then we'll go ahead and have an internal notification of an email. So this will come, again, just from a placeholder email, and then to all users, it'll email everybody, or you can have it to be people that are assigned to the contact. Subject, I'm just gonna have test, but you could have this say, hey, a new form has been submitted, whatever you want it to be. I'm just gonna leave it placeholder here, but fill it out, add in any information that you want, and then save. And then what this is gonna do, obviously we wanna make sure that we publish this and save, is when that survey is submitted, your client is gonna be alerted with that information, so they can go ahead and follow up with that lead if they didn't make it through to the calendar. So that's really all that there is to it from top to bottom for an amazing roofing funnel strategy. This worked amazing for me. I gave this company 10 grand. This will work amazing for your clients. And if you just show them and represent this is really going to help you close a lot more deals in the roofing industry, because this is definitely an advanced tactic that works very, very well. If you haven't already, grab that link in the description down below to install this exact funnel in your high-level instance. And if you haven't already, a great video to watch this one, it would be this one right here, where I talk about a similar strategy that you can run for the real estate niche.